I think of it as like me being very passionate about learning a new culture wherever I'm going with the native people. Personally, because I spent half of my life growing up in China and half of my life in America, I definitely feel like I don't completely 100% belong to one culture, but I stand somewhere in the middle. So when I applied for the scholarship and when I received it, I was really honored and excited about it. I picked Taiwan as the country I wanted to go to. I was born in mainland China and I really like my birth culture, and then it's something that I love and I'm passionate about. I was able to have a cross-cultural communication between me and then my language partner and my host family in Taiwan. For me and then the people there to have conversations and communications about what it's like living in the United States and what it's like living in Taiwan and what the difference is. I was raised in China by my grandmother on my father's side in Fujian province, an hour or two away from Hong Kong and Macau. So it's very south of China. I grew up in a very, very small, I won't even call it a town. It was like a village. It was very tiny. We had no high school. My grandma's plan was that I don't think she was able to afford me to go into high school because it was going to be in the city of Fuzhou, and that would have been 2-hour bus ride for me. I don't think she was able to afford the cost of attending high school. What she told me was that after I finished school in my town, I was gonna get married at age of 16, and she was gonna marry me off to a family, and then I will start working or be a stay-home wife depending on how it goes. And I think that's the reason why I really want to go to college now. It's I want to continue my education. I want to keep learning. Just knowing that if I was where I was, I want to have this opportunity too. So when I was little, I was told that my dad left the family to come to the United States, try to get a better living situation. So when I was 6, I was told that my biological father got settled and he has a stable job, stable home, stable income, and then he's ready to move me from China to United States. So I started doing paperwork, and then when I was 8, I finally was able to move. It was hard. I remember I came over from China to US by myself on the plane. And that was a really long plane, and it was a lot because I don't know what my life was looking like after coming to US. I didn't even know where I was going when I was trying to get to the plane, and I felt like I really had to get through it myself. The situation that my father was reporting back to China was not as good as he said it was. I was promised to have a better education, a better living situation, and just be able to go to college. But when I came over, it was very different, and I had to work a lot. I started working almost right when I came here, and my biological father placed me at Brooklyn for I was living by myself until he had a place that he can actually have me staying at. I moved from Brooklyn to New Jersey, and then I was working for maybe a year and a half or so, and that was really difficult because I came over to US with zero English. I couldn't even say yes or no or count to 1, 2, 3. I was trying to go to school. I was in 4th grade and I didn't understand anything the teacher was saying. And then when I came back from class, I was basically working until 10 p.m. and I didn't have time to do homework. I didn't even know I had homework. The teacher at my district found out about it, and then they told the foster care and the police, and they came to talk to me, and I ended up in foster care after that, yeah. The living situation was definitely better. It was a big, huge improvement. It still was a little weird because it was really far from where I was going to school. So the bus came 2 hours or before my class started. So it was really it was really hard to adapt to, and I still spoke no English at the time. There was a lot of communication problems between me and my foster care family. So they moved me to the current home I'm in now. And my mom right now, she's a teacher at my teaching district. So like she heard about my experience.
I work in a high school and I'm friends with a lot of the English department teachers, including the English as a second language teacher. So I don't know if Juliana told you, but she has a half sister. We think it's a half sister. We're not sure. The paperwork that came with the kids from China had wrong names. It had incorrect birth dates. Her half sister, we'll call her half sister. I knew her through the CSL teacher because she also didn't speak very much English. She was 18 or 19 years old, and she had been reporting to the school resource officer that things weren't going so well. She was graduating, she was enrolled in college, and they were looking for a place to put her. And I said, I'll take her. She was only going to be there for 3 or 4 months. And then we'll get her settled in college and help her. When I called DCF, they said, oh, by the way, she has a sister. Would you take her too? We were not foster parents. We had no idea. I gave my husband 2 weeks notice that we were going to, think about this and do this, and we took them. So we took them.
I came to them, I think, when I was around 10, right before I turned 11, and the adoption process took about 4 years because I was adopted at 14, so I've been done with them for like 11 years now. In the beginning it was interesting. I think I spoke enough to have like, I know it's time for dinner when they call me. When I came, it was my birthday, and then they would sing me happy birthday songs, and I've never heard of a happy birthday song in English. There was a bug in my room, and I was like, so I'm like screaming in my room like, there's a bug, and then they didn't know what I was saying, and they thought that I was saying there was a bird in my room. So I kept screaming bird, 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 and they had no idea what I was talking about. So there was definitely still some like communication barriers when I was learning English in high school. If I'm thinking of something, I will actually think of it in Chinese, and then I'll translate it in my brain, and then I will say it in English. My parents said that they noticed that I was getting more and more fluent in English was that I used to talk in my dream. So sometimes they will hear me talking. If I'm still sleeping, they hear me talking, and they said I was always talking in Mandarin. Even when I was writing like my journals, like I was always writing Mandarin. Like slowly, I was speaking more and more in English while I was sleeping, and then I was writing in English more often too. I started to feel more confident, or like more proficient English in like high school, like after like taking like the PSAT, SAT, like standardized exams. I think just seeing that I was able to take the exam and not score higher than I thought. And then I was like, wait, that's not my score. I was just even surprised that I got like maybe half of them right. I've heard people say that when I speak Mandarin, I come off very, I was very intimidating when I spoke Chinese. There are some words that just come out. My mouth just doesn't even think, my brain doesn't even process the word. I just say it. Sometimes in English, I'm still like trying to think of like the perfect word, but I feel like in Mandarin or Chinese, I don't really have that problem. I'm really happy and glad that I kept my Mandarin as good as I kept it because as I said, I'm really passionate about my birth culture, and I really just love the language because Chinese and English is like 2 completely different languages. My parents sent me to like Chinese school. The community that I was in was just a lot more diverse, and then most of my classmates were able to speak Mandarin because they speak it at home, and they really helped me like, oh, they'll say a word, and then if I look at them, I have no idea what they're talking about. I tell them in Chinese, I'm like, what did you say? And then they will actually like slowly tell me, oh, they will translate like what word did they say and something like that. So they were definitely like helping me in a way that like my parents couldn't because they didn't speak Chinese. But my parents definitely were really supportive, hired me a lot of tutors, and then definitely got me to Chinese schools. Even though like I think I learned more English at the Chinese school than actual Chinese, but it was just a good experience, yeah. The home I have now, I definitely consider a home. It's something that like if I get sick or if I just need to go home because like school is just a little too much, I definitely would call my mom and be like, come pick me up. on Saturday, I need to go home, please. And like, it's definitely somewhere I feel comfortable and definitely a place I love, yeah. I have some Chinese social media apps. I'm in contact with both my biological mom and dad and also my grandma because periodically they check up and see how I'm doing. But definitely like, it's like one of those like once a year, hi, how are you? Or like sometimes not even. I haven't heard from my mom in a my biological mom in a long time. She usually wish me happy birthday like every single year and that's about it, yeah. In the beginning, I think it was definitely a little uncomfortable. Part of me knowing that I like I don't belong in that family anymore, and now that I have my new family and new life, part of me definitely feel like the change is a little uncomfortable talking to them sometimes, and the situation is awkward at times. I also don't want to pass the shape who I am too. So like I definitely see it as more like an experience, like memories I think back to sometimes. And I definitely think that it makes talking to them now a little easier as well. I'm really passionate about my birth culture, and dance is also something I'm very passionate about. Even though my living situation wasn't the best when I was in China, my school actually provided dance experience. You can like go to a dance class and they will like teach you. My grandma would, even though she was busy and she had work and stuff, like she would take me on the weekends to go to dance class and just for me to have fun and have the experience. So I've been dancing pretty much my whole life and it's always been Chinese dance. So when I came over here, I told my parents I like dance. So I was dancing at like Chinese school. They found that my neighbors were Chinese dance teachers, and then I will go over to them and have lessons in their basement. So that's something that I've always been really passionate about. And one of the reasons why I chose Rutgers is that it has a very diverse community and like the Chinese student organizations and stuff. So I said they must have a Chinese dance troupe. So I joined freshman year and I really like it. I've been in it all my years, and last year I was the president. Now this year I'm the president too. Yeah. I thought I was really passionate about math because I want to come in as a math major, but when people ask me, it's like, oh, why are you majoring in math? The only really good answer I have for them is that, well, I'm just good at it. But that's not a good enough answer. Like if I'm not passionate about what I'm learning, if I'm just good at it, I feel like that's not enough. And then I think I slowly realized that I was a lot more passionate about Chinese and then the culture and stuff. So that's why I decided to major in Chinese and minor in math and business. I want to continue my education. I want to keep learning. Just knowing that like if I was where I was, then I want to have this opportunity too. So